This is a drawing of a monster named Crunch created by a second grader's imagination, and this is a sculpture of that drawing of that monster named Crunch created by a high school ceramics student. I'm going to read you a piece of creative writing written about this monster Crunch that this second grader drew and this high schooler sculpted, and this piece of writing is written by a high school creative writing student. Crunch was somewhat of an oddity in his Everglade home. He had gills and flippers like a fish, but he had the body, limbs, and mouth of an alligator. He was an independent creature, spending his time asleep in the mud at the bottom or lurking around the surface and eating anything that strayed too close. The Florida sun kept him warm. The grasses and greenery provided a perfect environment for delicious things to flourish. One day, he ventured into the deeper waters, simply for a change of scenery. He had spent his whole life in only feet of water. He was relaxing on the bottom when a sparkling, shimmering fish flittered down from above. He lugged himself off the bottom. Colorful prey were always the most delicious. He lurked up beneath it, and snap! Another easy snack. All of a sudden, youch! A stinging pain in his mouth. He'd been hooked. No, it can't be. As he was getting dragged up to the surface, he could do nothing to get away. I knew this was a bad idea. It was too strong. Ah! He neared the surface, and then he was scooped into a net. He could thrash all he wanted, but he was solidly ensnared, and then lifted out of the water, hung by his lip in the hands of a burly, drunken human. Hey, Bobby, what on earth is this thing? It's just a gator, ain't it? No, this one's different. We're keeping him for sure. And just seconds later, he was dumped into the live well of a fishing boat. How am I going to get out of this one, he thought. If only. That was it. When they closed the lid, it had not shut fully. It was still slightly ajar. That was his ticket out. He pushed off the bottom while swimming up as fast as he could, straight up. Bang! He burst through the lid, landing gracefully on the floor of the boat. Well, heck, Bobby, our little friend's flown the coop. He scrambled on the slick material of the boat, his claws meant for anything but. The few seconds he spent fighting his way to the railing felt like an eternity, but he eventually made his way off the ledge, back into the murky depths, safe to live another day. From that day on, he never returned to the deep water and never trusted another shiny fish. If you're new here, I'm a high school ceramics teacher, and this is a collaborative project that we've been doing since last year. This year's the first time we've got creative writing involved, and on April 18th, we're going to be hosting an exhibit where all of the student artists and their families get to meet, and they get to see all the finished works, and eventually, the second grade artist is the one who gets to keep everything that is created.